Welcome to Chapter 14, Lesson 4. This chapter is about geometry. Before we begin, we'll just have a quick review of what we've learned so far. So we've learned point, which is one spot, one dot, and we name it with a letter. We've learned a ray, which starts at a point but goes on forever. And when we label it, we use this nice little arrow sign, ray MN. Then we have a line segment that starts at a point and ends at a point. We name it with letters and we use a line to draw it. Line AB. And then we have a line which goes on forever, and we symbolize that with the arrow on each side. Line GH. Then we learn that lines, when there's two lines, we can talk about them. So if two lines never touch, they're always the same distance apart and they're always going on forever, we call them parallel lines. If the lines cross at any point, then we call them intersecting lines. But if they cross at a special point, which is a 90-degree angle or a right angle, or we could call it a square corner. See how it's nice and lined up evenly there? Then we call it perpendicular. And we use this sign to say that two lines are perpendicular. Today we're starting to learn about some new words, degree and angle. A degree, we use this little bubble sign, and we say that two rays can form an angle. Do you see how we have two rays? A ray starts, but no end, starts. They start at the same place, but they extend out in different directions. That's called an angle. An angle. So when we have two rays that start at the same point and extend, and then degree is how we measure the angle. Okay, so we have the two rays, and then degrees are how we measure it. Just like we measure length with inches or centimeters, we measure angles with degrees. This is a 1 degree angle. 1 is very small. 1 is just one little measurement between the two rays. 1 degree angle is tiny, and the bigger the degrees get, the bigger the angles. For example, an acute angle is a name we use for acute small angle. An obtuse angle is a name we use for a really big angle. Okay, two rays that start at the same point but go far away from each other. Acute, they stay kind of close. Okay, let's get into the lesson. Lesson 4, classifying angles. Angles can be measured in a more precise way than turns. The unit used to measure an angle is called a degree. A circle is made of 360 degrees. So imagine we have a circle, and I drew a circle on here. I traced a dish, and then I folded it in half and then in a quarter, so that I could get that middle point. Now, imagine that we have rays starting and keeping on going forever, but they start at our midpoint of our circle. And this line here. Okay, see how they could keep going forever. They could keep going forever. Okay, you see that? But these are our main degrees. So here we call this 0. We'll say that's the beginning. And we talk about the angles opening this way. And we'll say that this is 90. Which is our 90-degree angle that came from our perpendicular, right? So our square corners. And then we call this 180, 270. And then if you went all the way around, it would be 360. Think about what is the multiple here. What are we multiplying by? But there's a lot in between, right? I could keep going. What about I could draw a line from the beginning pretty much everywhere, right? I could go, and I could do it, and I could keep going, and I could keep going. And actually, I could go all the way through, and I could keep going more and more, as long as I go through the middle, and more and more. And, everything starts to get a little bit crazy. So mathematicians came up with a really smart idea. There's my light bulb moment. Light bulb moment. Okay, this is the coil. Light bulb moment. They decided, let's decide how many rays or how many degrees we'll have inside a circle. And then once we pick that number, we have to count using that system. So here we go. What did they decide? They decided that there was going to be 360 degrees in a circle. It says angles can be measured in a more precise way than turns. The unit used to measure an angle is called a degree. A circle is made of 360 degrees. So we could do it 360 times. An angle that turns through 360th of a circle is called a 1 degree angle. Remember this? That means that 360 1-degree angles share the same endpoint. Okay, they all share the same endpoint, which is the beginning, the middle, and make a circle. The angle below shows 3 1-degree angles, so it measures 3. So they see how there's 1, 2, 3. So they're saying this is 3 degrees. And we use that little circle symbol. Okay? So when we talk about circles, if we go all the way around, we have 360 degrees. And if you think about like motorbiking or motocross or skateboarding or scootering, and you do some sort of trick and you go all the way around, they say you made a 360, right? 360 turn. It means you went all the way around and got back to the beginning. Okay. David waits by the crosswalk sign on his way to school. The angle outlined on the sign, it's right here, turns through 51 degree angles. Find the measure of the angle. Well, the angle turns through 51 degree angles. That means 51 degree angles share the same endpoint and make the angle. So the angle has a measure of 50 degrees. And they already did that little circle thing for us, the degree sign here. And here's our key concept chart that has right angle, acute, and obtuse, just like we talked about. Angles can be classified as right, acute, or obtuse. Right? An acute angle measures from 0 and less than 30. So more than 0, less than 30. Okay? Excuse me, not 30, 90. An obtuse angle measures greater than 90, but less than 180. Classify the angle as right, acute, or obtuse. The angle is 90 degrees, so it's a right angle. Classify the angle as right, acute, or obtuse. The angle is greater than 90 and less than 180. Greater than 90, less than 180. It is obtuse. Thinking about angles and circles makes me think of donuts. Oh, yes, a nice donut with like cherry oozing out, yummy, and some sprinkles. Maybe it has a hole in the center. Yum, yum, yum. Yeah, ooh, maybe I can use my red pen here to make a little cherry filling coming out. Cherry filling is my favorite. Okay. Maybe you can draw a donut if you're feeling donuts, or a different kind of sweet if you're thinking of different sweets. I'll see you in class.